In the Smart History conversation about this painting, Dr. Juliana Krynick says she loves this painting, whereas Dr. Beth Harris says she's never liked it. For Krynick, it's about the garishness of the color, the distortion, and the sense of movement. Dr. Harris seems to be picking up on the alienation of the city and the sense of being stared at. And indeed, although we may see some overlap in palette between the Expressionists and the Fauvists, this painting entirely lacks the prettiness and Arcadian atmosphere of Matisse's paintings. Here, the color seems almost sickly and chaotic, emphasizing the strangeness of the city and that sense of being isolated, even and especially when surrounded by a faceless crowd. Kirchner wrote, "Completely strange faces pop up as interesting points through the crowd. I am carried along with the current, lacking will. To move becomes an unacceptable effort." We might start to see Kirchner as that little girl in the middle of the composition, feet planted against the aggressive swirl of modern, urban, alienating life. Die Brücke, the branch of Expressionism that Kirchner helped found, means the bridge. They considered themselves a bridge linking, as Arneson puts it, all the revolutionary and fermenting elements. Those young German artists who rejected what they saw as the artificiality of studio art and the prettiness of Impressionism. In the Smart History conversation, Dr. Krynick says that the bridge also refers to the connection between civilization, the things one is expected and constrained by society to do, and true self-discovery and self-actualization. The Minneapolis Art Museum, which owns this painting, Seated Girl, Franzi Furman, calls Die Brücke's goal creating, quote, a bridge to the art of the future, quote. And the audio commentary on their site calls it a bridge between art and life. There are clearly multiple layers to the name of this group and to this painting. This young girl was a favorite of the Die Brücke group. Along with her siblings, she modeled for the artists to help support their mother, who had been widowed when her circus performer husband died. Again, this painting provokes unease, and not just because of the sickly green of Franzi's face and the complementary coral of her lips. She reclines on a bed, although she's clothed. She's a child, but looks out directly with a world-weary expression. Behind her, the green figure is an African wall hanging, which for Kirchner symbolized what Arneson calls authenticity and renewal. We will continue to see the influence of African and oceanic art in the European avant-garde. For Emil Nolde, as for other German artists of the time, that search for authenticity led him to his own Teutonic roots. An artist who exhibited with Die Brücke for a year before going his own way, Nolde was born Emil Hansen, but as an adult renamed himself to take the name of the village where he was born. Friedrich Nietzsche had declared in 1882 that God is dead, but Nolde was passionately religious. Here is his depiction of the Last Supper, which shows Jesus and his disciples gathered for a final meal before his impending crucifixion or death on the cross, in which Jesus breaks bread and pours wine for his disciples, explaining that they are symbols of his own sacrifice. This is a very different representation of the one with which you're probably more familiar and may even have a reproduction hanging in your own or your grandma's kitchen, the Italian Renaissance version by Leonardo da Vinci. Nolde also painted a large-scale altarpiece called The Life of Christ, of which the central panel depicts the crucifixion. There's a clear connection here to another older painting, this one by the Northern Renaissance artist Matthias Grunewald. The Eisenheim altarpiece, which you may have studied before if you took Art 102, focuses in typical Northern Renaissance fashion on surface. Here, the body of the suffering Christ. Northern Renaissance art was also known for its focus on emotion. Grunewald's Christ is incredibly evocative in his expression of pain. Take a moment to consider these religious paintings by Nolde. Describe what you see, thinking not just about content, but about form, and consider how they relate to their earlier predecessors. What do you notice?